Hey Aries, Ali from Indigo Ascension. Welcome to your reading for July 16th through the 31st of July. Now, if you haven't already, please do go ahead and check out the description box below where you're going to find links to my Facebook page, my Instagram page, and my website address with a little bit more information about the work that I do as an intuitive energy healer. This reading for the final 2 weeks of July, I wanted to do a retrograde classroom reading. Now, that's simply a reflection about the potential. Sorry, Aries. Okay, so I'm wanting to do a reflective read. Well, not a reflective reading. It's the retrograde journey thus far. Okay, so I'm calling it the retrograde classroom. It's a look at what perhaps is being brought to the surface in many ways for the zodiacs. All right, how you receive the energy and the healing opportunities that retrograde season offers is going to be different to the next person, okay? It's no different to being in high school with a whole bunch of different teachers for each subject. How you receive that information, take that on board for your life experience is going to be different to the next person. And how we do that each year as retrograde seasons present every year is going to be different again, okay? Our growth is always, change is the guarantee. When we say that we can't change or life doesn't change, if we look back on the version of ourselves a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, how much is life truly different? Change does and will happen, sometimes slowly. Sometimes we remain a little bit stuck somehow because we need to be in that classroom for a little bit longer to integrate those wisdoms. So for the final 2 weeks of July, I'm really wanting to offer a retrograde classroom reading to take a look at the wisdoms of perhaps what the retrogrades have been teaching many of the Arians that I'm connecting into for this reading. So let's take a look. I have pulled 3 energy cards for you, Aries. So your energy cards are doubt, self-esteem, and surrender, I do see here. And then, there's an overall feeling of freedom or wanting to feel free of something, your old version of yourself, old limiting ways in which you wouldn't allow yourself to grow, perhaps, because the 4 of Wands and the Devil are underneath the tarot cards, are underneath the deck of the tarot cards. Underneath all of this, maybe there's this push-pull belief system about connection, about marriage, about what life has taught you about when it comes to those and what and who makes you feel like you're at home, okay? Not feeling like I'm at home in my career, the place that I've taken in my life, or finding a connection that truly makes me feel like I'm at home. This is the 2 eyes, the 2 arms, the 4 walls that we come home and be ourselves to. And there's this devil influence of the shadows, that sort of influence our ability to be able to achieve this, see this in a whole new way. Our challenging experiences of the past. This is quite a different energy, okay? So this is like if I was thinking of a relationship, this is quite, just that peaceful returning to each other, being able, this is my person, and then this is a different kind of connection altogether. It's something that I feel like I have to be there. I feel really drawn back to something that I know is not good for me, or whatever the case may be. There's conflicting beliefs here, okay, about connection, about love. And it doesn't have to be romantic it can be about your beliefs about connecting to others. It can be about your beliefs about connecting to commitments is what I do want to say, Aries, all right? And how it can sometimes make you feel stuck, and coming up against this regular sense of feeling stuck is what I'm intuitively picking up on here. I release the need to know all the answers. Maybe many Arians are releasing this energy of doubt, which ultimately makes murky our heart chakra, okay? And that certainly can be, like if I looked at those 2 cards, this one would be sort of in the middle, if that makes sense. There are issues here around esteem and self-esteem, and it's that beautiful Aryan energy that is all about this lone journey that you truly do enjoy. And you can perhaps partner with anyone, really. You can connect into, quite comfortably anyone, friendships, colleagues, bloody romantic partners, whatever the case may be. But how often do you truly feel like you've connected to someone that truly gets you, is what I want to say. Maybe that is the theme many Arians are coming up against within the retrograde season, and how many times you've sort of felt stuck before you fully said yes and charged ahead. Okay, there's like this invitation to surrender to a new way of thinking about connection, to surrender to a new way of thinking about love. And sometimes commitment can make us feel stifled. Okay, sometimes truly committing doesn't happen because on some deeper levels, because the Devil card is deeper connections, deeper knowing. It doesn't have to necessarily be toxic, I guess. On deeper levels, we know that just wasn't the right time for us. That wasn't the right person for us. And it's about surrendering. That wasn't the right career path for us, and the divine ultimately led us to who we were meant to connect to for one reason or another. This is what I'm feeling, is like this invitation to surrender to the complete freedom that this trust and surrender energy will bring into our lives. Maybe many Arians are either struggling with that or embracing it. So take that however it resonates. Let's take a look and see what the tarot cards want to say. Look at you showing up in your element. This is the King of Wands. This is acting on that which makes you feel excited, passionate, confident, okay? These are actions based on those beliefs, those core beliefs. The Queen of Wands as a feminine energy is the intuitive energy, okay? Wow, you have shown up in your reading twice. Look at this, Aries. In the past is the Emperor, male or female, and then there's the King of Wands. This is about you. Retrograde season is really asking you to get to the core of you. About this Four of Wands energy. Maybe there was a marriage, maybe there was a commitment that really battled with toxic traits within self, within each other, within the other. Take it however it resonates. Maybe I was battling against shadows, my shadow, someone else's shadow. And one of the favorite terms that I've got, when we are processing and expanding consciousness, when we are connecting in with like-minded souls, okay, we are drawn to connections for greater healing. And those deeper drives that feel like this devil energy is essentially about transmuting the shadow. Like, I feel like in very many ways, Arians may be coming up against memories of the past connections. Maybe you're coming up against the drives towards love, intimacy, connection, and the reasons why certain connections have crossed your path, have left your life, whatever the case may be. When we're really drawn to each other based on this thunderous energy, like it's that karmic pull that you just can't deny. It's because there's a part of us that's perhaps repressing the shadow aspects of self, and they need to be brought out. And it is in connection that we transmute together, we work together, we pull it out of each other in order to see it, which is exactly the same energy that happens in retrograde season. It's working on subconscious levels, and it's not until about this part in the game, if you like, that we can do a review to see what is coming up to the surface. It's like that dream state energy where I'm not really sure why I'm really drawn to that individual, for better or worse. Like, these are connections that feel like home, and these are connections that feel toxic. And someone can feel like home because of the toxic connection we have. And now a connection is only toxic if we're denying the reason why we're being drawn together. Everyone crosses our path for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I've put a quote up on my Facebook page recently, Aries, it is by recognizing and being drawn to the shadow in each other that process has to happen first, before we can then recognize the light in ourselves, which will be reflected in another. So in many ways, as we go on a growth journey, regardless whether we align to spiritual beliefs or not, we are constantly growing and evolving. So perhaps we have to meet our shadow self first Perhaps we have to get into relationships with the demons of others and each other, okay, before we can get into this awakening stage, because the Four of Wands is an awakening card, before we can truly find a connection that feels like home, because we have found that sense of home within self. I'm really drawn to these two cards. Speaking of home and working from home, my little loves, I'm really drawn to these two cards, Aries. It's very much about, like, I feel like I'm connecting into Aries that are really going through the timeline in many ways and getting to the core of the wisdom truth, the truth behind that connection, why I was really drawn to them, why I'm still drawn to them. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic connection. You might certainly be going through themes when it comes to love, romance, intimacy, whatever the case may be. But I feel like this is connections in general. Like there's this repeating theme on some level when it comes to a sense of commitment for you, and what you're awakening to. Like this is the awakening card. I'm awakening to, you know, the drives of this devil energy, the shadow self, perhaps, you know, whether I am finding myself as an empath, intuitive, or a sensitive, continually falling into relationships with the shadow self of others so that it can ultimately heal my shadow self, or whatever the case may be, really coming to a sense of what home feels like and what kind of relationship will make you feel like you've come home, okay, is what I keep hearing. Like this is about you and your beliefs, about what makes you feel confident, what makes you feel like you are the emperor of your kingdom, male or female. This is your highest self showing up in your reading. This is your highest element, the King of Wands. This is about the actions you have taken in the past that have ultimately led you to the outcomes you have either desired or not desired, and a really newfound sense of who you are is what I want to say. There's been this awakening card, this awakening energy for many Arians that are really coming to terms with the truth about connection, with the truth about this Saturn influence, about the foundations you have formed, built in your life, committed to in your life, that have built this outcome, okay? Whether this is a practice that you're sort of, whether there's an energy that you've sort of been connecting into and noticing in your relationship dynamics, your career choices, whatever the case may be, reviewing, like in retrograde season, we go through the timeline, we go through everything we've learned in the past about love, about ourselves, about what we have and haven't allowed, and what influences us most importantly, that the influences that really get in the way of us building strong foundations of a sense of coming home into self, so that we can truly come into connection with others. And when we commit, you know, what are we committing to? Are there conditions? Are there, whatever the case may be? I feel like I'm connecting into a lot of Arians that have been through this awakening recently, okay? Maybe even going back as far as, we're in July now, so April to July has very been much this transmutation process of shadow aspects that no longer are wanting to align to who you are. Like there's this deep surrender of anything that impacts your self-esteem, okay? Because we can want someone, something, we can experience a win, because what that ultimately does when we connect into that energy is it ticks a box that makes us feel like esteem is being satisfied on some level. But this is about the core beliefs, like the doubt that leaves your heart chakra murky. Like we can have the things, we can have the external things, we can tick most of the boxes, if you like, in a romantic connection, but there's deeper things that are going on that I feel like many Arians have continually found themselves coming up against. And this retrograde season is really offering you an opportunity to get to the heart of that, how you've sort of sat on the fence in one way or another. When it comes to true surrender and commitment, is what I do want to say. Not truly noticing the gift that is on offer, and playing an old role is what I keep hearing as well, Aries. So as empaths, you know, do we continue to play old roles because we feel like we should, because we are the healer, we are the empath, we're continually attracting similar personalities, we're continually attracting similar experiences within our commitments, our career, our whatever the case may be. I feel like this deep transmutation, which is here to refresh the heart chakra, and really address these these blockages around esteem and the solar plexus so that you can build beautiful new foundations from the ground up, because you've seen your past, your views, your beliefs, your motivations, your intentions, the intentions and energies of others, and everything that's ever infiltrated and influenced you to making every single decision. You know, the reason why, what was the intention of that why, is what I'm feeling here. Because when the Judgment card shows up in the future, like there's this call from higher self, there's this call from the heavens, call from the universe, whatever the case may be, take it however it resonates. Like there's something that's in the background that you are aware of, okay? And I also equally want to say, Aries, you will see and know why everything had to happen exactly as it did, okay? Now I'm just connecting in. I don't know if you followed my Instagram page. I remembered, I just heard the term, it's not your field. And I think it was something to do with a competitive energy. Like, take that metaphorically, take that symbolically. If a relationship didn't work out, it wasn't your field. There's a new field, like there's this new call to rise and realize that you were only meant to be in that location for a certain amount of time, that relationship for a certain amount of time, because it gifted you something. All connections bring us something, you know. Nothing is ever good or bad because of the wisdom we take with us when we do, so that we know what we will and won't say yes or no to, so that we can connect into and truly build 44 Master Builder foundations from the ground up, and connect into energies that truly resonate with that. And when we haven't connected to those deeper energies within self, Aries, we will always continue to connect into energies around us that will only mirror what's going on for us on some level, yeah? There's this invitation to surrender, okay? Surrender any of the heavyweight, surrender into any of the old, thanks to this retrograde classroom, this retrograde review, surrender anything that's ever blocked this from truly shining in its authentic essence, okay? I can tell people, I'm doing great, I'm doing fabulous, you know, but at the core, okay, at the core, and you know, a connection might even tick all the boxes, and yeah, it's going great, but at the core, did it meet every single need? And if it did meet certain needs, what were those motivating needs? What were the intentions behind those needs and drives? This is what I'm feeling, like a big master rebuild of the essence of what truly drives you and pushes you forward. And I feel like for many Arians, there was some emotional loss that really had to be integrated in one way or another, and it's felt like a slow thing, a slow journey. Maybe the last 5 years are significant, but again, here it is. This is your new beginning. This is that new beginning, Aries. This is very much what I always feel like. It's not your playing field, it's not your field. Like I mentioned this in your quick reading Instagram this week. There's like something else, and I feel like I'm connecting into many Arians that are going through the timeline, going through past experiences, maybe even still stuck in many ways, okay, about experiences that you're still trying to process loss from in one form or another. But what the invitation is these 2 4s, Aries, is a master builder energy. We are building new foundations. We are building new foundations that better identify what has kept us blocked from truly connecting in, committing in, okay? The energy essence of connection is important here for many Arians that I'm connecting into. But I feel like there's this new trying to make its way to you in many ways, but you're still tied to the past in some way. You're still committed, tied energetically for some areas that I'm connecting into, okay? When we identify that our higher self and our highest expression of self is showing up in our reading, it's very much about, this is about me. This is about getting to the core of who I am, my intentions, my drives, everything that has ever driven my intentions and the choices I have made. This is about really making the most of that Mars energy that is transiting your sign, okay, Aries? The final 6 months of 2020 is a really powerful time for all of us to really get to the core of the wisdom of what Mars offers us. It is the energy that drives us. For better or worse, we can be driven by deeper desires, okay, that look like this on some levels, known or otherwise. We can be driven by passion. We can be driven by drive and just want to move forward, and we're not even going to integrate the past. Take it however it resonates. I'm connecting into many areas. This retrograde review, classroom time, is very much about you getting to the core of who you are and the actions you want to act on moving forward, the foundations you want to build, the choices you make around intimacy, commitment, connection, letting go of the past, really being the emperor of your kingdom in a whole new way, experiencing yourself in a whole new way. Because even without connection, it's when we really do surrender to being with self and we get to see what is left. Like, I feel like there's a heartfelt expression, an apology that's wanting to be expressed, and sometimes the first and only person we need to apologize is to ourselves, Aries. Okay, really coming into a whole new relationship with your intuition so that you can speak, and connect from the heart. And if that's what's keeping you back from true and genuine feeling like I'm at home in this connection, because I feel like I have to play a role, I feel like I'm connecting on surface layers when I look at this and this together, on some level, like knowing, you know, I could be in a really long-standing relationship, and it's only meeting surface needs. It's only meeting, you know, surface needs, not deeper needs, is what I want to say here, Aries, all right? Like connecting into what's intuitively trying to get your attention from a heartfelt level. Also intuitively knowing that this thing had to end. This thing had to play out the way it did. Workplace, romance, relationship, take it however it resonates. It had, you intuitively know on some deeper level, it had to play out the way it did so that you could welcome new love into your life. And this is that playing field I'm seeing, this other field you're meant to be playing in outside and after July, okay? The retrograde season is a beautiful opportunity for many Arians to connect in to everything that life has ever taught me about love, connection, commitment, how I commit to my goals, okay? It doesn't have to be romantic, like I said. How I, most importantly, commit to the highest element of who I am, my deeper truth, my soul calling. Can you be quiet, please? How I commit to the most important people in my life. And yes, in order to be the best we can be for those we love, we need to be that for self, Aries. Okay? Apologies for the background noise from my little assistant. I hope you've gotten something out. Yes, that was a bird. Okay, I hope you've gotten something out of that, Aries. Please do go ahead and check out your July reading for the month. And if you haven't already, connect with me on Instagram so that you can see your quick read for the